The previous videos briefly discussed the difference between culture and community. You then learned about deaf people who are part of deaf culture and how there are deaf people who are not part of deaf culture. These next few videos will explore culture in more detail. How can you determine if something is a culture? What aspects of culture are there? This video will focus on one way of defining culture called the 5 hallmarks of culture. The first hallmark is language. All cultures must have language. They two go hand in hand. Without a way to communicate, ideas, beliefs, feelings, etc. cannot be expressed to one another. Thus, language is a defining hallmark of culture. If a group of people do not have a common language to effectively communicate, then it is not a culture. Language does not always need to be a separate language with its own alphabet, grammar, and vocabulary. Instead, some culture groups already have a common language and a new lexicon is created to improve the efficiency of communication. The second hallmark is customs. Customs dictate the rules of behavior for the culture. They inform people how to act, what to do, what to wear, and more. Customs even influence our beliefs on marriage and relationships and what to eat. Customs can and do change over time, but they heavily influence our perception of the world and how we interact with the world. Customs are important to understand for both your own cultures and others. Understanding customs will assist you in interacting with people from other cultures. The third hallmark is heritage. If customs inform us how to live our lives, heritage explains the creation of the custom. Cultures are made by people, and there are reasons for the many behaviors and beliefs existing today. For example, a common greeting is to shake hands. Shaking hands is the custom people follow, but why do people shake hands? Heritage can explain this. It is believed the reason people shake hands is related to wearing weaponry, specifically swords. A sword is always sheathed on the opposite hip from your dominant hand, right hand dominant with a sword on the left hip. This is done for the ease of unsheathing the sword. Well, what happens if you approach your enemy and shake their dominant hand? Both of you are disarmed. If one of you reaches for your sword, it would have to be done with your non-dominant hand. Therefore, by shaking hands, you are effectively disarming your opponent. To reiterate, heritage is the reason for a custom. The fourth hallmark is art. In this case, art is being used as the general encompassing term for all creative ways of expression. This includes dance, paintings, sculptures, music, and more. All cultures have some form of art. Art can express pride, history, pain, successes, and more of the culture. The last hallmark explains how the culture is continued. There are 3 ways culture is passed down. Many cultures are passed down through family members. Parents teach their children who teach their children who teach their children. It follows a bloodline. However, there are some cultures where the parent and the child are not part of the same culture. One example of this is deaf culture. Between 90 to 95% of deaf children have hearing parents, and many deaf parents have hearing children. Therefore, deaf culture is passed down through cultural players. This means members of the culture meet new members and teach them the culture. It does not follow a bloodline. The last option is a mixture of both. Although most deaf children are born to hearing parents, there are some deaf children born to deaf parents. Thus the last option being a mixture of the two, although deaf culture is mostly passed down by cultural players and not family members. To recap, there are 5 hallmarks of culture: language, customs, heritage, art, and family or culture players. If a group of people have these 5 hallmarks, we can consider them a culture. When you think about it, there are many groups of people who actually are a cultural group, we just do not see it right away. Using these 5 hallmarks, we can explain how video games culture exists, how book culture is real, and there are many other cultural groups that are alive and thriving. The next video will explore more components of culture. The 5 hallmarks are like the guidelines to if a group is a culture. Once we know they are, we can explore the culture deeper.